Okay, let us continue. Now I would like to explain you formal formal conditions about the course. So here you can see the list, the plan for the lectures. So right now we had the first lecture about the modeling and simulation, and we scratched the surface. Now we do understand what is the difference between the modeling and simulation and why do we actually need it. Right now we'll have the second lecture. It will be based, it will be all about the bone graphs and why do we need it, why do we want to consider it. It will be like an example of explanation how simulator works, how it's able to automatically derive an equation. Then we will discuss about how can we use modeling, analytical modeling, in order to synthesize control for robot manipulators. We'll consider position control, force control, and interaction control. Then we discuss about modeling for design. How can we use modeling in order to create something new? And then the rest of the course, the fifth, the sixth, and I guess the seventh, the part of the seventh lecture will be based, will be all about the spatial motion. We discuss the kinematics, dynamics, and control of open chain links that creates a motion, spatial motion in the 3D Euclidean space. About the practice, we will have 4 practice tasks, and if we'll do them, if we'll do this, you will get 60 points. It is the minimum of points that you need to get in order to pass the course. Then 10 points more you will get if you pass all the quizzes. The one that you just had.
That was graded?
Sure. We have 7 lectures, and we will have quizzes for each lecture. So you can see that each quiz a little bit more than just 1 point.
1 point means like if you done all question in the quiz you will pass. If you didn't done all question you will not pass. Or
it depends on how many questions did you answer. Mm-hmm. It's like if you have done a mistake, it will be not a 1 point but 0.9. All right. So quizzes 10 points, 15 points. By the way, you can pass quizzes only if you here in person. If you in person, there will be video recordings. You already can see the recording from the previous year, but the material a little bit changed. So it's better to be here in person and then just wait for the updates if you would like to receive the material. Project. I will explain you all about it in later slides. And exam, oral exam you will have in the end of the course, and it will be based on the topics that we cover during the lectures. Also, I will give you the material to read. Okay, the ground rules about the projects. So the project must be focused on robotics, mechatronics, and at least be all about engineering. For example, a car, it's not really about robotics, but still it's an engineering branch of science. So you can...
which one? I didn't understand. What is engineering but not robotics?
I showed you an animation of a car. of car of a vehicle. It's not really robotics, but still we can think about the unmanned vehicle, and in this case it will be robotics, so still. Different kind of topics in robotics. You can model a system or a module, maybe a drive, variable stiffness drive, something like this, maybe a link, maybe it's detailized, very detailized, but just a sub-module of a giant system. For example, a gimbal. A gimbal is not really a system, but a module of a system. Project must be based on your background, so you need to use your course material, everything that I'm explaining you here, but also use your privileged knowledge, experiments, and skills from your background. If you're good in programming, you can create simulation model and think of how can you use your previous background in order to make your simulation even better. I encourage you to do the group project in groups up to 3 students in order to create something great, something is interesting, because if you'll do this by your own, you will just need to spend a lot of time and efforts. You still can do this, but I encourage you to work in groups. And it is your task to come up with a task. What should you simulate? In the Yandex disk that I just provided this morning, you can see the examples. And also I will update the folder. I will send a new project as well. So you can find their articles that can be used to to feed your imagination. And also there is a MATLAB files that you can just run and take a look at the way how it's implemented. So I will give you the examples and the list of tasks. Also, you already can see it in the Yandex disk. Contact via email and Telegram channel. So in the channel you can see all the information that I would like to provide to you. Also there is a chat, you can ask questions there. Also if it's something personal, you can write me in the email, and also you can send your files using email. The background, I suppose that you do remember linear algebra, because we're going to use it a lot. You do remember basic mechanics, control. You have some skills in CAD modeling and MATLAB. If you do not have it, I think that you can study it during the course. And quizzes will be after each lecture. Books, here you can see the titles of the books. Here you can see the list. So actually you can find different kind of books, and I already uploaded them in the Yandex disk. I encourage you to read the first one, Modern Robotics by Kevin Lynch. It's very great because you do not need any prerequisites, any preliminary knowledge in order to read it. You can read from scratch. If you are white blank, you can just start reading it. It's very great, and everything will be clear. Also, if you want, you can use these links as extra information. So here there is a video course by Kevin Lynch and by Stefan Stramigioli, and I have used this material a lot to prepare this course. All right, in conclusion, what do we know? simulation. What is the simulation? The second one, yeah, sure. Yeah. And the modeling is the act of building a model. Why do we need modeling? For all of this stuff. And also we can divide it on two huge groups of tasks. It is simulation and control. We just covered the simulation, and during the second lesson we go deeper in the details, and on the third lesson we will tackle the control. In order to understand fully the material of the first lecture, I encourage you to read not the whole chapters, but the pages that I just wrote here. So chapter 1 preview is just in general about the modeling, general words about the modeling. 2 about the configuration space is also very obvious material. 4 of kinematics, inverse kinematics, and dynamics of open chains. Here I mentioned only a few pages, and it's something that I will explain you during the third lecture, but it will be much easier for you if you read it first. And then we will cover it during the lecture. In this case, it will be much easier for me and for you to cover this topic. Okay, that's it with the first lesson, and now we will go to the second one.